privileged space right now. I have not shared the contents of this box with anyone. I mean, welcome back to the wild. I'm Cypris. And welcome to all our new wild things. We've got some new subscribers. So happy to have you here. Now, if you're here for ritual videos, I do plan on having a Moedernicht video up on Mother's Night, Christmas Eve, for those of you keeping track on a Christian calendar. Today we have a Cypris tea video. You've probably already noticed that I don't have a mug of tea, I have a glass of wine. And that is because we are taking a sneak peek into my magic trunk. This is the chest that I keep all of my altar tools and magic ritual tools in. For something of this tenor, I like to take it up a notch. Wine seemed appropriate for me, so why don't you grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, a glass of wine, ginger ale, whatever your speed is, and let's get into cracking this open. Now, this trunk does not include candles, candle holders, incense holders, and the like. I have an entire cabinet dedicated to candles, incense, and that kind of stuff. This trunk has been special to me for multiple reasons. Most fundamentally, probably, this has filled a gap in my soul. There were a lot of girls my age who did get hope chests from their families as they started their adult lives. Fully stocked hope chests. The hope chest that I inherited came to me broken and empty. And honestly, that is explaining a lot of the entirety of my life up until now. But this is not a hope chest. This is a tool chest, and I have populated it over the years with all of the implements that are important and special to me. And so we are gonna crack this open and have a little bit of a show and tell with me today. So let's get to it. First of all, the trunk itself. I've had this for 14 years. I didn't actually buy this trunk for myself. At the time, I had a friend who was getting married. This friend is actually one of the few people I know that actually should be married to her partner. I have like 5 couples maybe in the history of my life that I've thought those two belong together. So, not cynical at all. So anyway, she was getting married and she had a long laundry list of things that she wanted to collect to implement in her wedding so that she'd have a very personalized wedding. And one of those things was a treasure chest to put the cards in rather than the cheesy wishing well that so many people use. I happen to be in Hobby Lobby. I know better now. I do not shop at Hobby Lobby. I will not go in Hobby Lobby. But at the time, this is 14 years ago, I had no idea how evil they are. So forgive me, I was young and naive. So I was in Hobby Lobby and I saw this and I thought it went with her color scheme. It went with her vibe. So I picked it up for her. I brought this back, but by the time I got it to her attention, I think it was her groom had found one. She ended up going with that. So I was left with this and was certainly too chicken at that age to return an item. So I ended up stuck with it. So for me, this has just this sort of cool vibe to it because it was originally intended as a gift. Well, I ended up inadvertently gifting myself, I guess. Alright, that explanation over. Let's... Now, before we get into this, I should let you know, this is a very exclusive peek. I think I've had 3 or 4 people ever get into the contents of this box with me and look at it. This is a privileged space right now. I have not universally shared the contents of this box with anyone. Matches. Boy, I've had this box of matches since I did my very first ritual 18 years ago. This is a box of matches that is dedicated to altar work, ritual work. They are getting old and they're hard to light now. They don't usually light on the first strike now. But I'm too cheap and stubborn to buy new ones, so. Oh, of course, in the toolkit. You can't see what it is because it's wrapped up so well, but this is a couple of bundles of sage. I've started using one of these. Before you blew up my comments with chastisement, I have had this bundle for I don't know how many years. I bought this long before there was a major discussion about the ethical implications of using white sage, had no knowledge. Like, I came into this world pretty naive, folks, and susceptible to marketing ploys just like everybody else. So now I know better, and I would not source white sage except from ethical sources, but I'm not going to throw this out without using it just because I purchased it a little irresponsibly, right? So don't come for me. I'm aware. We know better now than to buy sage off of Amazon. Ooh, okay. Many of you will know what this is from watching my last video, my last ritual video. This is my Athame, my ritual blade, whatever you want to call it. I believe the stone is obsidian. I can't swear to that. I don't know if you've noticed, but most Athames are wooden handle and a steel blade, or something like that. This isn't anything like that. This is made of stone, and this really resonated with me. I'm not much of a blade person. I'm much more of a wand person. I don't like violent things, although honestly there's times where you want a blade. So I just could never find the right blade for me, and when I saw this, I stalked it on eBay for over a year because they wanted more money than I could justify. But for me, the fact that it's a ritual knife made out of stone feels more ancient to me. Oh, dude, that is not gonna fly. That's not okay. You're gonna break it. You need to get down, babe. You need down. Thank you. Good job. So, where was I even? The fact that this is made out of stone feels very ancient to me. It feels more in line with quartz crystal ritual blades that they find buried in Europe and the New World. It feels more authentic to me to have a ritual blade made out of stone than steel. So that is why and how I have this as my ritual blade. Now, what I'm keeping it in, actually, it doesn't look like much. In fact, it's quite grimy. I should probably see if I can wash this. This is just a simple little girl's hanky, but this is actually a fairly powerful item for me. My mother made this for me when I was 9 years old. When she made another one for herself, we were going on a sort of a pilgrimage. A new place of worship was opening in our religion. As part of the commemorative ceremonies, members were encouraged to participate in a sort of, prayer chant thing. As part of that, we would hold the hankies and do this. I really don't know what that was about. It was a long time ago, and they really didn't explain it very well. So that was a big deal to me, and I really honestly was envisioning something a whole lot more candles and incense than what we got. We were shuffled in like sheep into these little rooms with VHS tapes playing on a loop, and they were just processing people through. We weren't actually participating in the moment of consecration. It was going to be consecrated later. It felt cheap and flat to me at the time, but what's special to me is that this was something my mother made, and it was something that we did together. It was one of the first things I got to do with the adults. The younger kids stayed at home. It was an item made for ritual that my mother made me. It's real cutesy. It's not my taste now, but definitely a charged item with good energy. So I keep my Athame, in it, just like that. Okay. This is the first stick of selenite that I ever got for myself. Where did I get this? It would have been in one of the small magic shops in central Michigan. I picked this up because this particular stick just... You know, you feel it and it's working, and different stones resonate with you individually. This was one that did. But this I will often put underneath a Reiki table or an altar. These are especially good for Reiki because there's a lot of getting the energy flow through the body, and these help laying underneath on the floor. Oh, here we go. This is my wand. It doesn't look like much, and honestly it isn't much. It is just a twig. But I planned and hunted for this wand. This is a piece of driftwood I found on the southern shore of Lake Superior. My reasoning behind looking for a piece of driftwood, that particular little section of the world was a place in my childhood that we went to, got away from the world, got clarity. It was a place where answers could be found. So that beach is sacred to me. Also, I specifically wanted a piece of driftwood because a piece of driftwood has all the elements in it. Earth, because it grew from a tree. Air, because it was dried by the wind. Water, well, it was cured in the cold lake for who knows how long. And fire, it was dried and cured by the sun. I mean, energy set already. All I had to do was get it used to my personal energy. So I have to be careful with it. It's just, as I said, a flimsy little twig, but I'm very happy with this wand. It works quite well for me. It's hard to put it down. The energy's so good in this. So I think there's more than one. Yep. Turkey feathers. These are something I use for getting smoke all over the place when I'm smudging. Now, turkeys are not symbolically significant to me. The reason I have turkey feathers, almost all other feathers are illegal. I would love to have a crow feather, but that's illegal. I could order feathers from, say, Europe, but US feathers are almost all illegal, and I don't think they're gonna change that law anytime soon, so just be advised when you pick up a feather off the ground, there are federal laws mandating that you do not take that home. So yeah, turkey feathers are legal. Oh joy. But, I mean, they serve the purpose, and I found these on the ground. I didn't kill a turkey to get them, so they work. Ooh, okay. This is, there's two of them, they're the same. One's a little more beat up than the other. This is something I often use for an altar cloth when I have a smaller altar. This is just a piece of upholstery cut out of some chair that was being trashed or reupholstered. This one I've used more. You can see there's wax and stuff dug into it. At one point, I tried to fix this up and put an edging on it and make it nicer, but the fabric is so old, it is literally disintegrating, and if I try to sew it, it just comes apart. So I'm using them as is until they're just not usable. The reason that I use these, one, I mean, look at this color. Look at this burnt orange rust color. I mean, yummy. But really, the reason that I have these is because I had a great-grandmother who scrounged fabric scraps. By the time she fourth fared, she had a number of suitcases and trunks full of fabric scraps, and I've got some of them. This was hers, and her fabric scraps were something that were very precious to her. I never actually got to meet my great-grandmother in this incarnation, but she was absolutely visiting my family in the days after I had been born. She passed just before I was born. She knew I was coming and didn't want to miss it, and my mother was absolutely certain she was visiting me for quite a while after I was born, apparently. So she's one of my grandmothers that hovers, even though I don't have an actual living memory of her. I think it's important to keep something of her with me. I don't know how she'd feel about me doing ritual magic, but I'm sure things look a little bit different from the other side, so hopefully she's not mad at it. This is my pendulum, and we've got some bag lint stuck to it. This is a carnelian. Carnelian's a stone that I am very fond of. For one, it's that deep rusty orange color that I love. Clearly, I vibe well with this stone. I found this in a cute little magic shop near the University of Purdue's campus. I can't remember what the place was called, but this great little shop with all these beads and a lot of little magical items interspersed throughout. This was just calling to me, and I really haven't done any pendulum work, and I really need to. And I picked this up, boy, 10 years ago? So it's probably mad at me for letting it sit and putting it off, putting it off, and putting it off. That's my little pendulum. Okay, sweetgrass. I've been using the same braid of sweetgrass for, I don't know how many years. I think it used to be about this long, so it just doesn't use up very fast. And this little bundle's helped me on quite a few space clearings, I will tell you. I've moved a lot in the last 10 years. And we have a dying battery, but I don't know if it'll last 1 minute or 10 minutes, so we're just gonna stare at the blinking battery light until it goes out. I don't know. This is my Banishing Mirror. I keep it in the box that it came in because, well, to protect it, and also you don't want to be looking into it. This is a new item for me. I purchased this recently to incorporate in the Banishing ritual that I recorded and performed a couple months ago now. We keep it safe from reflecting. Holy cow, there's only one left. This is a bottle of incense cones that I picked up at Walmart of all places. I got this to do a space clearing in my new home when I first moved to Ohio. So that would be over 10 years ago now. Since then, I have literally used this up to the point where there's only one of these left. Well, pretty soon I'm gonna have a bottle to repurpose. All right, I'm gonna need a little more wine soon. I've got notes from most of the early rituals that I did. This notebook, sketchbook, was intended originally to be a notebook for my making of a grimoire, a book of shadows. That has just never materialized. My thought was that I could take notes and sketches here before making it all pretty and nice in a final version in the grimoire. But what I have found over the years is that I type things up in Word and print them out. So just not a scrapbooker. I don't know. Like, I love the idea of a handmade, hand-drawn, written book of shadows, but the practical application of it, I'm probably at some point gonna compile all the stuff I have on my hard drive into a collection, and maybe if I get around to it before I die, self-publish a collection of what I've got, but nothing impressive here. Okay, I think I can take a lot of this out collectively. This is sea salt, pine extract, lavender, rosemary, sandalwood, lemon, peppermint, clary sage. Any more? I think that's it. Essential oils, sea salt for ritual, fairly self-explanatory. Actually, it's a fairly modest collection. You know, you can do a lot with pine, peppermint, lavender, sage, and sandalwood, and rosemary. I mean, those are very effective oils, so. All right. Yeah, I have a wine opener in my trunk because usually I'm opening a bottle of wine when I perform a ritual, but why it has a cork still stuck to it, I really don't know. Okay. All right, last item. I have mixed feelings about this. This is a gift set. I picked this up in Arizona 14 years ago. It was actually gifted to me. I found this on a family trip to Arizona. My mother saw me eyeballing these and decided to get them for me as a birthday gift because our trip actually coincided with my birthday. There's just a couple of stone goblets here. I spent quite a while picking these out from amongst all the offerings. I wanted to get just the right pair. I don't remember what this stone is called. It's a stone that's very prevalent in the gift shops in Arizona. I'm sure somebody watching, if you want to put a note in the comments what stone this is. So anyway, this... Single ladies, you will know where I'm going with this. Anything that's a set of 2 is just... These were a 30th birthday gift. At the time of my 30th birthday, I was newly liberating myself from a very toxic relationship, and I was still young and naive enough that I still functioned with hope and expected fully that at some point it would be useful to have a set of 2 matching ritual goblets. I've used them singularly a couple of different times for a couple of different things. Yeah, the original goal was in case I needed to do any sort of couples rituals. Don't I feel silly? That is just not my life path. So, like I said, I have mixed feelings about these because they're sort of precious and sentimental to me, but they're also sort of like just reminding me of the fact that so I guess bottom line, boy, do they look like they're giving me the middle finger real hard. But I still like them and I still treasure them. I just have to find alternative uses. That's most of my life story, finding alternative answers to what should be straightforward questions. That's everything. I guess pulling this all out, it really doesn't seem like that much. In my mind, I've accreted quite a bit of stuff because I filled this trunk up, but really, it's not that much. But it doesn't take much. That's it. You've seen into my most private of corners of my life. These are my magic implements. These are my tools for ritual. What do you think? I don't have a lot of people in my life who are interested in these sorts of things, so it just has not been something I've shared. So now I'm sharing it for almost the first time with all of you. Thanks for coming along for the ride. I've enjoyed going down memory lane with you. Don't forget that you can like, comment, share, subscribe, click the bell, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And until the next video, keep it wild. I feel so awkward and stupid. Grumpy, that's my seat. And welcome to... That was awkward. Sweet to me. Hi, baby. Are you coming up too? Everybody's gonna check me out? Slow me down? I love you too, but I'm trying to film. Why are you yelling at me? This is not Rub Jezebel time. This is exactly the opposite of Rub Jezebel time. Actually, where do I have that right now? Don't eat that plant. Hey, hey, hey! Dude. No. No. Come on. My nose is just itching me. Like, why now? Why all of a sudden? What did you think of my magic box? I'm not gonna use that. Fairly private. Blasting this on the internet. I'm fairly private.